actors and activists. We also have Catherine's friends of very, very many shades. They include the senior, the super seniors. I've seen some super seniors in the room. And then I've seen some seniors. And then I've seen some not seniors. Seniority is, if you are lucky, you live long enough, you become a super senior. If you become a senior, you're on a way to super senior, you say, God, add. And feel that everybody is in. Dr. Julia Ojambo is the super senior in the room. Thank you so much, Mama. We are so happy that you are here with us. Chief Justice Emeritus, Chief Justice David Maraga, thank you so much. You're a super senior. In addition to that, Governor Emeritus of Kisii County, that is Governor Ongwae, James Ongwae. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. We have a super senior or a senior, the Honorable Martha Karua, a friend of the family, a friend of Catherine, and a political luminary in this country. We have all the way from New York. She traveled just for this funeral, Madam Roslyn Akombe. Your presence here after such a long travel is a show of your devotion to this family, but a show of your connection with Catherine and the things that she stood for, and we are so grateful that you are here with us. We have Mama Jane Nyaboke. She's a senior lawyer and a friend of the family. And we have got Daisy Amdani at the front here. They worked with, she's in Mama's eyes, she's a baby, because Mama and her father were workmates way back then. I think she'll tell us a few of those stories this afternoon. And we'll keep recognizing others as we go on. We have my friend Zain Abubakar, many connections with his family, but also at the political level, given where he's situated, also a connection because Mama was, in addition to everything else, a political actor. I said there are many, and I've seen my senior Omari, Wakili, all these, and then I see so many other people. We'll keep recognizing people as we go along. So now the program says that we are going to have a musical performance. That musical performance is going to be led by the Field Marshal Band. Field Marshal Band is a much storied band. We've been with them in this room before, doing commemoration similar to this one, and it is their turn. Where is Marshals? Oh, I've seen oh my God, Senator and my brother, Senator Kongo Mogeni. I've seen you on that side. Niliangalia hivi. I'm responsible. I'm the one who told you to go and sit there. and then forgot you. Madam Emily Nyagarama, who is many things, but a political leader in Kisii County, or Nyamira County. And then we have our sister, Ambassador Betty Ombachi Karago, who is a friend of this family and a friend of the children in this family. Thank you so much on that side. And I've seen Wakili Onyoka. Thanks, Karibuni, and Phil also included, even if you're on that side. Asanteni. So where are marshals? Marshals are not here yet. So they were here for sure. So one of the hosts, welcome Waziri Alice Wahome. who is a waziri in the government of the Republic of Kenya and a friend of this family. We are so grateful that you've been able to join us. And thank you so much. And my friend Boniface Mwangi. Hi, Boniface. Thank you so much for what you do in this country. You are playing such an important role, which is the role that we play as civil society leaders and actors and activists, which is the role of just asking the questions. And the people, some of who answer those questions, we are glad that this function is such that we have a mix of people who ask the questions and those who answer the questions. And I hope that the conversations we're going to have in this room is going to be one that helps us to bridge the gap between the questions and the answers that we all seek. The field marshals are ready. You've got the stage. Thank you very much.
Hamjambo wazalendo. Hata sisi hatujambo sana. Na tunafurahi hapa kama field marshals kujumuika kwenye hafla hii ya kumcelebrate shujaa ambaye hajakuwa sang vizuri. Tungependa kama field marshals tujaribu kumsing vile anavyofaa. Mzalendo Moraa Katherine Nyamato. Tutaanza kwa wimbo wa mapambano na ndio wimbo wetu ambao tunaita anthem. So nitawaomba tusimame. Tunaomba uweke ngumi yako hapa kwenye roho yako. Uhuru wetu na haki ya jasho letu na haki ya jasho letu. Tumekataa kupiga magoti mbele ya hawa wauaji. Bila shaka sisi pia ni watu, hali ya utumwa tumeikata, hali ya utumwa tutanyakuwa mashamba yetu, tupiganie uhuru wetu, tuikomboe viwanda vyetu, tukomboe utamaduni na viwanda vyetu. Sisi hatutaki kudhulumiwa, hatutaki tena mauaji, ili kupe tuliangushe haki na uhuru zichanue, haki na uhuru zichanue, uhuru wetu, uhuru wetu wa Kenya, tupiganie na haki zetu, na haki zetu wa Kenya, tupiganie katiba yetu, katiba yetu wa Kenya, tutekeleze. Ole yo, mimi nataka roho yangu iende kulinda nafsi zetu, umoja uangaze Afrika, tulenge lengo la ukombozi, tulenge lengo la ukombozi, ukombozi tutaupata vipi? Tulinde haki za binadamu, nipe jibu la fumbo hili mama, ewe baba, hata na wewe ndugu, ewe dada, hata na wewe ndugu, mekatililia litoa roho yake iende kulinda nafsi zetu, uzalendo uangaze Afrika, tule lengo la ukombozi, tulenge lengo la ukombozi. Nyanjirwa litoa roho yake iende nafsi zetu, uzalendo uangaze Afrika, tulenge lengo la ukombozi, tulenge lengo la ukombozi. Biogama pintwa litoa roho yake iende kulinda nafsi zetu, uzalendo uangaze Afrika, tulenge lengo, tulenge lengo la ukombozi. Jelagat mutaya litoa roho yake iende nafsi zetu, uzalendo uangaze Afrika, tulenge lengo la ukombozi, tulenge la ukombozi. Bishop Mugia litoa roho yake iende kulinda nafsi zetu, uzalendo uangaze Afrika, tulenge lengo la ukombozi, tulenge lengo la ukombozi. Wangare Mataya litoa roho yake iende na nafsi zetu, uzalendo uangaze Afrika, tungo la ukombozi, tulenge lengo la ukombozi. Moraa Nyamato metoa roho yake iende kulinda nafsi zetu, uzalendo uangaze Afrika, tulenge lengo la ukombozi, tulenge lengo la ukombozi. Rexi Masaya litoa roho yake iende kulinda nafsi zetu. Moja uangaze Afrika, tulenge lengo la ukombozi, tulenge lengo la ukombozi. Hata na jenzi wanatoa roho zao ziende kulinda nafsi zetu. Uzalendo uangaze Afrika, tulenge lengo la ukombozi, tulenge lengo la ukombozi. Ona sisi sote tutoe roho zetu ziende kulinda nafsi zetu. Moja uangaze Afrika, tulenge lengo la ukombozi, tulenge lengo la ukombozi, tulenge lengo la ukombozi, tulenge lengo la ukombozi. Ole yo, iya yawe, iya ya ya, imba iya yawe, iya ya ya, iya ya ya, imba iya ya, iya ya 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 ya, imba iya ya, iya ya ya, iya ya ya, yalla iya yawe, iya ya ya ya, iya ya ya, iya yawe, iya ya ya, iya ya ya. Dhuluma webaki nyuma, sitwaenda na haki. Oh dhuluma ye, webaki nyuma, sitwaenda na haki. Dhuluma webaki nyuma, sitwaenda na haki. Oh dhuluma webaki nyuma, sitwaenda na haki. Yalele ya yawe, ya 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 ya, imba ya yawe, ya 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 ya, imba ya ya, oh ya yawe, imba ya ya, imba ya yawe, ya 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 ya, imba ya yawe. Sexual killings, webaki nyuma, sitwaenda na haki. Extrajudicial killings, webaki nyuma, sitwaenda na haki. Oh kupigwa risasi, webaki nyuma, sitwaenda na haki. Oh shoot to kill order, webaki nyuma, sitwaenda na haki. Yalele ya ya, ya 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 ya, imba ya yawe, ya 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 ya, sote ya yawe, ya 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 ya, imba ya yawe, ya 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 ya.
That was very, very powerful. Thank you so much, Field Marshals, for that energetic performance, which leads us directly into the first set of tributes. We are going to have three. In the first set, which is the civil society coalition with which Katherine has worked very closely, and where we will explain exactly the relationship she had with the Kenyan civil society, which is where we are celebrating her today. We're going to have Dr. Kerubo, who is speaking from the US, Dr. Kerubo Abuya, sorry. She's going to speak virtually. It's not ready yet? Okay, technology has a way. I think then if that is the case, the next one is, as we prepare for Dr. Abuya, we're going to have the Executive Director of the Kenya Human Rights Commission, Mr. Davis Malombe. Davis, thank you so much. You have the floor.
Viva, comrades, viva. Allow me to just say a few things. My team from KJC advised me to be very official because we have our own condolences, which we wanted to pass about Mama, who was such a powerful leader in the country. The first thing is the way she loved her family. She was a family lady. There's a day 3 months ago, I was just reading about her in a family life magazine where she was arguing among others in 2020 during the times of COVID when there were killings within the Kisii area, the so-called Moraa 4. So that's one of the areas where we worked very, very closely with her, and she gave us a lot of political, emotional support to that regard. I have really also admired the way she has remained really strong and extremely resilient, even despite her advancement in age. She was even vying for the women's seat during the last elections. She was even advancing her degree and her studies at Strathmore University. So I'm really inspired by that kind of political and also academic growth, irrespective of your age. In yesterday's conversation, when we were doing final touches among the group, there was a proposal by Kerubo Aboya that we need to think about also writing about prominent and progressive women leaders from Kisii County. And the KHRC is really keen to be part of that conversation because I think we need to also have space where we should be able to remember and also celebrate our women, which celebration should also go a long way in inspiring the ongoing conversation in the country about the Kenya we want, a Kenya which is transformative, and also a Kenya which is also driven by the vision we have in the Constitution. So George and the team, we are very keen in being part of that conversation to keep our legacy and also our memories alive. And to that regard, I concur with Roslyn and Amboya in the article you wrote yesterday in The Nation, where you concluded we owe her an apology for failing to celebrate her effectively, and also gratitude for the great work she has done for the country. May Mama rest in power. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Davis. The next speaker is Daisy Amdani. My sister Daisy Amdani, come up. I already partially introduced you, and as I said, as she comes up, she has many relationships with Mama Katherine, and she's going to explain some of them here. You have the floor.
Thank you, George. Oh, this is quite high. Okay. Good afternoon. All protocols observed. So I had an interesting relationship with Mrs. Nyamato because I got to know her from when I was a child in primary school because she worked in immigration, in the immigration department. And my father worked in immigration. And so that is when I was first introduced to Mrs. Katherine Nyamato. And so I grew up calling her auntie. So I encountered her quite a bit, interacted with her quite a bit at that rate. And one of the things that always struck me about her was she was very smart in terms of presentation. She was always very, very smart. And she used to do her nails. The only other person I've seen who does her nails like that is Honorable Martha Karua. Always, you'll never see them with naked nails. Their nails are always painted. But that was the thing that always struck me about Auntie Catherine, that she always had her nails, and she would wear bright colors on her nails. Now, I'm going to tell you something else. So my father was her senior. She was the senior most woman in immigration. So, I mean, that in itself was a feat, because it was at a time when women weren't really scaling the ladder. Most of the women were going from college, you would go to government secretarial, and then you go and you become a secretary, a senior secretary. You know, most of the senior women were at that level. But Mrs. Nyamato was she was the senior most woman in immigration. So that in itself, is something worth celebrating, to be able to scale, to that level. But then you also know that this was a time when the law was not favorable to women. So, like, if you needed a passport, either your father, you got it through your father, or your husband. Now, if you had issues with your husband, you couldn't get a passport. It was difficult. So now, my parents eventually divorced. And for the longest time, my mom tried to get a passport, and her husband, who was a senior immigration officer, always made sure her application was blocked. It is Mrs. Katherine Nyamato who told her how she would go about it, so that she could apply without him knowing and get a passport. And actually she did, and she was able to get her passport. And I'm sure that Mrs. Nyamato did this for several women, yeah? Because of the kind of intricacies that they faced. So it was a pleasant surprise when eventually I found my way now into the women's movement. It wasn't my original path, but I ended up there through the Women in Law and Development in Africa and Women's Political Alliance. And when we started engaging, and it was around the Constitution review process, I encountered Mrs. Nyamato once again. This time, she was with the League of Kenya Women Voters. Alice is here because they're among the founders, Honorable Alice, CS Alice Wahome. So that is now where I encountered Mrs. Nyamato again. And I like what Davis has said about our failure to celebrate Honorable Mrs. Nyamato, but not just Honorable Mrs. Nyamato, but the women who blazed the trail. Today, it is very en vogue to talk about women's rights. But they did it at a time when it was not, when it was difficult. She came from a community which even to date is very difficult in terms of breaking through. So to become a senior civil servant, to get nominated into parliament, but also to be dignified, because they were also dignified women. Honorable Julia Ojiambo, Honorable Martha Karua, and the late Phoebe Asio. Women who, they fought with poise and dignity. And I think that for me, this is now a time, first of all, as the women's movement, it's time for us to come together. We have lost two trailblazers. One is getting a state funeral. Actually, they both should have state funerals because they've done so much for women. There are things that we take for granted today, like the fact that you can confer citizenship to your child as a woman, as a Kenyan woman, or to your husband as a Kenyan woman. This is something that wasn't allowed under the old constitution. If you had a child, even if your child was born in Kenya, you being a Kenyan, but the father was a foreigner, your child was considered a foreigner. Women would come with their babies and they are told you have to get entry pass for your child. Men, even when they were abroad, Kenyan men abroad could confer citizenship. Today, that is something we take for granted, but that is what they fought for. They fought for women to be educated on the vote. You know, that was what the League of Kenya Women Voters was all about. And these are women who dared at a time when it was very, very difficult. When we had a president who believed in the traditional roles of women. I watched a clip recently of President Moi complaining about some woman, and he said, desturi ni mwanamke anafaa kuheshimu mwanamme. And that is how it is taken. In fact, a lot of the time when we talk with religious leaders, we remind them that it is wives submit to your husbands and not women submit to men. And men, not all women are your husbands. But the likes of Honorable Katherine Nyamato, they blazed the trail. I've told George Kigoro, he must stop referring to them as senior, because tena we are in a museum, so he's like relegating them to fossil status. Honorable Professor Julia Ojiambo, Honorable Katherine Nyamato, Honorable Phoebe Asio, these women were pathfinders. They were trailblazers. They blazed the trail. They are the ones who fiecad when there was no path. They are the ones who made paths. And Mrs. Nyamato fought for the rights of women. She fought against killings of the elderly in the name of witchcraft, women being dispossessed in rural areas. She fought against FGM. She even founded an organization, Federation, I'm forgetting, of? Yes, Federation of Women Groups. And she was really keen. And she was keen on changing her community, bringing them out of that backwardness to say, this is where women belong, anywhere where decisions are being made. And so she deserves every celebration. And I pray, because I know Honorable Martha Karua is organizing us, for us to actually celebrate our fallen trailblazers. And so I think even after all is said and done, after the burials and all, we must come together. There's the younger generation. You know, I'm not that old, but Kina Ruth, they say old women like Daisy. That's why George is calling trailblazers and pathfinders like Honorable Professor Julia senior. No, they are pathfinders. We are all together. I'm seeing Nerima Wako. These are the young women who are holding the line. We need to remember them. There are people who don't know about Honorable Katherine Nyamato and don't know about the fight that she has put in all these years. And that's what we're building on. We are standing on their shoulders. And so, to the family, Poleni Sana, thank you for sharing your mother with us. She was a wonderful woman. She was a very smart, very, very smart lady. She presented herself always so beautifully. And she was also a very kind lady. She will be fondly remembered, but we owe our pathfinders a celebration, a big celebration. And we want to see streets named after them, buildings named after them, so that the generations that come later, when they see Katherine Nyamato Street, they will ask, who was Katherine Nyamato? So CS Alice, since you are in government and you are the ones who do the naming, we will talk. We will talk to you, and we hope that when the women's movement is coming together, that you will be pleased to join us so that we may celebrate. Because even you being in cabinet is something worth celebrating. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daisy. I know you had a lot to say. That's why I allowed you so much more time. And one of the things you said, there was a conversation at Mama's house last evening among the women leaders present. And everything that you've said, and you were not in that conversation, it confirms everything that they said. What we take for granted around the ability for women to travel, you pick your passport and you go. First, you couldn't get a passport those days if you are a woman. And Mama's singular contribution to the freedom of movement around gender issues was the fact that because she was a woman leader in the immigration department, she progressively made it easier and easier for women to travel without the permission of their often estranged husbands, as happens. I mean, a lot of men would never want their women to travel, and can you imagine that? There was also a conversation around property ownership, and that women were not allowed as late as the 80s and even early 90s, if you are buying property, land, that you needed the endorsement of your husband, or you couldn't get a government housing because you were a woman. And she was part of the group that pioneered the fight against those practices that are now in the past but are taken as issues. It's taken for granted that those victories have always been with us. The next speaker, if he could be coming down quickly, the CEO of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, Dr. Bernard Mogesa. The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has had a strong working relationship and with Katherine, and you have the floor.
Thank you very much, George. The family, the leaders who are here, CS Wahome among others. As Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, we stand with Mama. Mama stood for equality. Maybe one thing that you need to add in that list is that many years ago, women never used to get house allowance. You get into the public service, salaries will be paid to men with house allowance. But women and other leaders like Mama stood firm, and today that is a history. We worked with Mama during the Moraa Nyamato, where those 4 widows were lynched. We worked together with Mama, and it was justice at last for those 4 women, because Mama stood very firm about that kind of practice, which is very rampant in the Kisii community, very rampant in Kilifi, very rampant in Kwale as well. And she left us with one word, George, and you remember during those conversations that this fight must continue. And Mama, even as you go, those of us who have been left behind, we shall keep that pace. We shall keep that fight. And all of us must stand for human rights. This is the time that we must keep that fight going forward. FGM has been mentioned. Child defilement these days. Every morning you wake up as a leader, you will hear about a 3-year-old who has been defiled, a 5-year-old who has been defiled, and these people are in our community. And the wheels of justice are very slow. The investigative officers drag their feet to investigate and bring those culprits to justice. As human rights defenders, as the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, we stand with the Kenyans and the fight continues. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. And thank you very much for your leadership at the National Commission. We know it's not easy, and you've done well under those circumstances. Then I don't know whether Wangeshi Washira is here, the executive director of the Center for Rights and Education and Awareness. If she's not, I don't know whether we are ready to receive the online tribute by Dr. Kerubo Abuya. Is it possible now? It's not working. Okay, I think this is basically what she would have spoken to. Let me summarize my sense of what her speech was going to be. In October 2021, there was that killing in Kisii of women. It was really bad. And then they actually captured it on, because people have phones now, so it was all over the internet. People are banned and people are watching and putting fire and so on. Then they burnt their homes. They were really, really poor women suspected of witchcraft. When that matter came to our notice, we thought, because these things happen in that part of the country, it's not the only one. There's also Kilifi, There's lots of Western Kenya. There's now Murang'a, a bit of it is happening, but Kilifi, Nyamira, Kisii, and Kwale, that's where those witch hunts are the commonest. So we thought as a self-organizing national coalition, we needed to do something about it. We organized to do that at a national level and organized a press conference at a hotel, Fairview Hotel. We brought the victim families to Nairobi to be the face of this. We are not dreaming this. Just see these people and all the bad things that have been done to them. Reached out to political leaders from Kisii County and told them, these are your people, stand with them. For political reasons, political actors are very careful. They conferred among them and said, if we touch that issue, we lose our votes. We are not involved. So we reached out to Mama Katherine. We told her, your people are being burnt and there's nobody willing to stand up with them. She said, I will. She came to the press conference. She was the notable political presence in the press conference that we held. And she said, this will not happen. This must come to an end. After that, we started the process of organizing the funerals for the 4 women. We went over to Kisii. Their homes had been burnt. We were also building houses. But there was also secondary backlash because those who had killed the women realized if there's law enforcement coming, then these will be witnesses. The survivors are going to be witnesses. So there was a secondary witch hunt for them. Working with Madam Katherine and her family, your sister, she's not here, Rosemary. So they came and we were the group organizing, building houses and that kind of thing. There was a big lunch set up for us, and people had a nice time. We had a difficult time together. So that process, then we started the process of organizing for accountability for those killings. It was very difficult getting arrests. Finally, we got arrests done, and people were charged, 16 of them. Late last year, 4 of them were convicted and sentenced to 135 years in total. That's unprecedented. It doesn't happen. Supporting those cases from Nairobi, which Mama Katherine was doing on an ongoing basis, going to Kisii and being part of the face of we want justice for those women who have been killed and so on and so forth. So that is how we came to work with her. And then Governor Ongwae's office reached out to us. He said he was going to set up a task force to look into the killings that had happened and the systemic nature of the killings. And we said the people who are best placed to serve in your task force would be, of course, the self-selection. Self-selecting was Mama Katherine. She was the leader of the task force, appointed by Governor Ongwae. And thank you very much, Governor, for being present and for honoring that relationship today. We had Harun Dubi, who is a city lawyer, as a member of the task force, appointed by the governor as well, and also our sister, Kerubu Abuya. She was the third. She was then living in the country. And that, unfortunately, I think it was now, by the time the work was going on, elections and politics had switched gears. And so it ended up being the case that we didn't have as conclusive an outcome from the work of the task force as possible. But this represented an official, a concerted, an unprecedented concerted official response to killings that had happened over time for which there was nothing really tangible happening from the authorities. This group then formed what we call the Utu Coalition, which Kerubo leads, and they are members of the Utu coalition. Some of them are Mashinani people, and 4 of them have come from Kisii. They will have two will have a chance to make quick remarks at this point. One of them is Helen. Helen, come in front. Helen was the connector, working on the ground, protecting families and ensuring that people were safe, organizing for the police to know, to meet communities and to communicate. And thank you so much for all that you do on the ground, Helen.
Na wasalimu amchambo. Amchambo tena. Ni siku njema leo tumekuja kusherehekea sherehe ya mama wetu, Mama Katherine Nyamato. Mimi ni mtetezi. Tulikuwa tunafanya kazi karibu sana na Mama Katherine. Vile mmesikia wamama wapendwa wetu wa Kisii walipouawa, Mama Katherine alikuja akawa msaada mkubwa. Watu wa community walikuwa wanasema hao wachawi hawatashikwa kwa maboma. Vile hata walipomoa nyumba wakasema nyumba isichengwe. Lakini Mama Katherine na wengine wakafanya juhudi tukachenga nyumba. Mama mmoja ambaye anaitwa Chemima Mironga akapata nyumba ambayo aliwekwa, akatolewa, akasindikizwa kwa heshima kubwa. Tunashukuru sana Mama Katherine. Ingawa ametuacha, sifa zake sitabaki rohoni mwetu. Mama tutamkumbuka hadi wakati ambao na sisi tutakapotoka duniani. Watoto wake nawapa pole sana. Ni mama yenu, pia alikuwa mama yetu. Na siku ya bario pale nyumbani kwetu tusindikize mama yetu kwa heshima kubwa sana. Mr. George, asante sana kwa kazi nzuri ambao mmefanya. Asante sana. Pia sitaweza kumsahau Dr. Kerubo ambao amefanya kazi nzuri sana. Popote alipo, Mungu amulinde. Mama, rest in peace. Asanteni.
Mwingine ambaye atakuja ni mzee Zakari Miranga kutoka Kisii, kutoka Nyamira. Mzee kam, tafadhali endelea kuja. Pengine msimame nyote, muonekane mmekuja safari ndefu na ndio kuja kuwa na sisi. That is the group that has traveled. They've worked closely with them. So part of, as vile mzee anakuja, part of the way this issue has been tackled is by engaging religious and cultural leaders to make the point that it is neither religiously acceptable nor culturally acceptable for people to be killed the way that has happened. So this is part of the mainstay of the relationships that Katherine established, and they are here also to celebrate her.
Ninawaomba wenzangu wote wa Kenya tusimame kwa dakika moja kwa kukumbuka mama. Ngororigereria abantu bao batenenire acokorera omong'ine nting'ana Katherine Moraa Nyamato ketini.
When did they get Baba? When did they get Baba?
Pole mzee, pole. Pole, pole. Basi, basi, basi. Huyu ni kiongozi kutoka Nyamira, Dadius Simeon Otenyo Ogendi, Mwamugusinya Getinge Heritage Council, Nyamira County. Na mimi ni Joseph Sakari Miranga, Mwamugusinya Getinge Heritage Council, Kis County. Sasa kwa kusema ukweli, mnajua nyinyi yote, mwaka wa ligi cherimo amagana kianda na merongo kianda na megwanze tanebere 1997, mama mpendwa Katherine Moraa alikuwa mjumbe, akatetea kina mama vile wenzangu wamesema hapa na mnajua, akatetea watoto wasichana, akatetea wananchi wote wa Kenya bila wanasumbuliwa nchi zote za Kenya. Bila wenzangu wamesema, Katherine alikuja kakaa na zizi pamoja na Dr. Kerubabuya na wenzangu kutoka Human Rights, yule ametoka hapa na wengine, kuangalia hakuna mwananchi anaruhusiwa kunyonga mtu ama kuua mtu isipokuwa Mwenyezi Mungu. Sisi kama Wakisii tunasimama imara na mama Katherine Moraa Nyamato, hata ingawa yuko, tumshike mkono. Bila mama mwenzangu amesema hapa, ametoka hapa saa hii, tunashukuru watoto wake, mshike ile njia ya mama. Omo mwinagarengo moremu tarenge konyegerigwa iga sigeta bantu bonse, alikuwa na heshima kila mtu, hakukuwa muoga. Ni kama mama Profesa Wangari Maathai, Martha Karua na wengine mko hapa. Kwa hivyo sisi kama Wagusii tumekuja hapa leo kuwaomba, vile mwenzangu George amesema, tuende sisi wote tukamsindikize mama wetu kwa heshima na tusimame imara na tusitizwe hata watu wawewe na mkiona. Asanteni kwa kunisikiza. Naachire.
Biamana abantu wa Minto. Thank you so much. Hiyo tunashukuru sana sana. Asanteni sana. Si wamekuja vizuri? Thank you so much. Now I'm told Dr. Kerubabuya can now come on board. I've done most of the things that she would have done. She had a quick pictorial that she would show, and then we'll transition to the next level. That would be the last of this segment of speakers. Bring her on, please. Thank you so much. Okay. I hear this is in the way. Yeah? Sorry.
you hear me? Mercy, can you hear me? All right, so I can proceed. Thank you. Everyone, brothers and sisters who are gathered here today, wherever you are, to honor the late Honorable Katherine Moraa Nyamato, who is a wonderful, wonderful woman that we really need to remember and ingrain in our memories, especially for those of us who are from the Kisii region. I'm going to, yes, indeed, Ndugu Kegoro has already shared quite a bit of what my presentation entailed. We were going to set stage. Are you able to see my presentation, Mercy? Just to make sure that everyone can see that. Thank you. Yes. For those that don't know Mama Katherine, we fondly refer to her as Mama Katherine. And I think there are many of us who think that we know who she is. Unfortunately, she has suffered what I think most very courageous women suffer in spaces where they stand up to speak truth to power, where there's a lot of many parallel narratives and stories about her. So, but today what we're going to share is a pictorial review of Mama Katherine, but specifically focusing on the work that she did with the Utu Coalition over the past 7 years, really up to the time of her death. She was a very strong supporter. So looking at who was Honorable Katherine, already a very good history has been given about her background as an immigration officer. She has many different faces, from a family woman, a wife, a mother, who adores her children. You know, as we can see in these photos, I see her daughters and her son. Mama Katherine was a family woman, loves her grandchildren. There we are, that's more of her grandchildren. A friend, she had very many friends. She's one of the people that I know that is so connected and so networked. She knows almost everyone. If you ask, oh, I need help with this, Mama Katherine will tell you, oh, I can connect you with so and so, and they can support you. She was a great resource. Of course, we know her political face. Some have already spoken to that in her pioneering role as a political woman leader from Kisii, who initially ran for elections in the opposition at a time when being in the position was almost like a death sentence, really. So a very courageous woman, as we've seen over the years, that she has shown us what it means to step into your power as a woman and lead with courage. She was an exemplar of bold leadership, what I call bold leadership for humanity in practice. And for that, we'll be forever grateful, Mama Katherine. She was also a woman of faith, a staunch Catholic, went to Mass practically every day. Reminds me of my mother also, who was a very staunch Catholic. And I'm grateful that Katherine also made time to come and mourn with us when we were burying our mother last December, along with Ndugu George Kegoro. Thank you so much. So her faith and the values and her faith is what really anchored her. From the time I got to spend time with her, I learned that the values that drove her was her faith, and also what we Utu, values of Utu. In Ekeusi, we say Obomwanya Bantu, or Ubuntu, as most within the continent would refer her to. But I'm going to show some photos of the work we've been doing with Mama Katherine over the past 5 years. And this is her face as a human rights defender, and focusing on the work within the Utu Coalition. I just want to warn that some of the images or some of the things that we'll share can be trigger warnings for some in the audience. Now, this has already been said. Ndugu Kegoro talked about the 4 women who were lynched. These are the faces of the women, and it's important that we say their names. Rael Sigara Nkware, Jemima Nyangate Mironga, Sabina Ndege Mayaka, and Agnes Moraa Ototo were the victims of the horrific events of October 17th, 2021 in Moraa Nyamato County. We say their names because it's important to say their names, because people already just brand them and call them witches. They say, Wakisini, Wachawi. We want to call their names because these are human beings, these are mothers who deserved to live their lives to their natural ends. Mama Katherine stood with us, spoke with the media. She was present at the funeral. The woman was buried first, and then the 3 followed later. So she was very visible and very vocal. We buried 3 of the women on the same day. We are very grateful to Governor Emeritus Ongwae, who sent his deputy governor to come and stand with us, because that made a big difference. When the community saw that the county was involved in this process, in fact, they ended up saying, based on what we had done with the other members of the Hutu Coalition, the Kenya Human Rights Commission, and all our partners who were present, who came from Nairobi to support this, people said, they have been buried like heroes. Wameziko kama shujaa. So they went from not having a chance to be buried to being viewed as having been buried as shujas. So we shifted that narrative by standing together in solidarity. So again, these are images from Marani. Again, thank you very much to the county government of the time, who at the photo you are seeing, Mama Catherine at the very end, and next to her is a Ndugu Bernard Morisa, and that's me, and the governor's team receiving a report, the study from the Kenya National Commission had done on the killings of especially women in Kisii County after they are labeled as witches. We'd love to know what the content of that report was, just a humble request, and figure out how that report can National Commission on Human Rights. Thank you so much, Ndugu Bernard Morisa and your team, for standing with us. Again, that's Mama Catherine. The community celebrated her. So many people showed up to speak, and there was an elder who also wanted to speak. So Mama Catherine gave her the mic, and she was addressing the audience. We continue to seek justice and also advocate for change and connect with people in different spaces. We had Senior Counsel John Haminwa join the case. He brought a lot of visibility to this case. And indeed, we were able to open some doors because he was involved in this matter. So for the first time, this was viewed as not something that happened in a small village, Uko Wawakisi, but something that was being understood on a national platform. We had our comrades from Kilifi next to Senior Counsel Haminwa is an advocate, Joseph Mwarandu in Kilifi, who also have the same problem where elders, men and women, are being killed. A few weeks ago, he said that people are being killed like antelopes, and yet nothing is happening. So this is something that really needs to draw attention at all levels of government so that people are protected within our communities. We interacted with the county government. We did protest marches. We were at the courts, visiting with the county commissioners to make a case for us to be involved. And Mama Catherine stood with us. Even when she was not able to be on the ground with us, she followed very closely. She called to check up on us on how we were doing. This is again with the media, the family members who were affected, our colleagues from Kilifi came all the way to Kisii to stand with us. And we also went to Kilifi to stand with them in some of these matters. The religious and cultural leaders have been phenomenal and stood with us throughout the process, bringing those coalitions together. We participated in World Elder Abuse Day, which is the 15th of June. This now was in Kilifi. I was present in Kilifi with others. Mama Catherine could not join us, but she supported us. These are elders. The woman that you see there is a very elderly woman, but women in Kilifi saw that their white or gray hair is not visible because they will be branded witches. So we really need to start shifting attitudes around that. This is a rescue center. Yes. Okay. All right. All right, thank you. So humanizing victims of these horrendous practices is part of what we were doing as the Hutu Coalition, and Mama Catherine was central to that. How do we advance the message of Hutu, Ubuntu, or Obomo Nyabantu, as we say in Kisii? So humanizing and standing in solidarity. Women, again, continue to be lynched. A woman was lynched in Kisii County in 2022. In 2023, Mary Joki Mwangi in Kakura, Muranga was lynched. We went to support them, the team there. This is her family, her son in a black shirt. These are some of the activists from Karika, and that's Marion. It was a very emotional moment, but we stood with these families. And what we're finding, standing in solidarity with these families is critical. And Mama Catherine continued to stand with us in solidarity. Even when she could not be there physically, she was always present and checking in with us and making sure that everything was okay. That photo you see is Mama Catherine and I with Senior Counsel Kamau and Commissioner Wamalwa at the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. We had gone to discuss strategy around change and also continuing to seek justice for these victims. So in the background, Mama Catherine was always working to ensure we're getting justice. She's connecting us, and we are getting the attention, and doors are opening in spaces that are required to support this, to bring change. So in conclusion, I just want to say, rest well, Entingana, or Queen Mother Moraa, a daughter of Busiland. You made us proud. We are so proud of you. We are so grateful that you took on the blow to give us your shoulders to stand on today to do the work that we do. And a long overdue apology is yesterday. She will be speaking to the specifics of that and why this is very important. One of the things I want to propose is that we can set up community dialogue and an annual lecture series to honor Mama Katherine. And Dennis Malone, thank you so much. We will definitely follow up on your offer to see how we can partner to highlight these cases and celebrate the women from Kisii and other places. Thank you for your time.
I think we've been struggling to claim Katherine, but I think the struggle is over. Would you not agree? Yes, Katherine belongs to us. We celebrate her. She's part of us in every way. Thank you so much for that powerful rendition of who Katherine was. She's many things to other people, but this is who she is to us. Very substantial work and substantive leadership. Thank you so much. There's a group that has to leave. Mama and then we'll go to Julia. I think I'll give you this chance exceptionally so that you make your tribute. And so that was the deal we had last evening. And Madam Sears, we like government here because we speak to ourselves. It is not a nice thing. I think those who are in government have different duties slightly from those who are not, but if you have to leave, we would understand. Because we like talking when the government is present. And when the government leaves, it's kind of, it's different. So we are really, really grateful and honored that you're here. We are also honored by the presence of the representative of the PS for the State Department in Gender. And I don't know where she is. Please show your hand. Thank you so much. We are grateful. Again, we are grateful that government is here.
I'll take this opportunity also to just say pole to the family. Mama Katherine's children, we love you so much. And we're so happy you are strong and you are with us in this journey. I want to say thank you to my sisters who are here. Honorable Karua, for leading us to this journey here today. The CS, former Chief Justice, all dignified guests that have been invited here, all of us who are mourning. My sister, I call her, my daughter, I've called her all names, and she accepted all that. I just want to confirm what has been said about Katherine. One thing, like it's been said, Katherine was a sincere Catholic and devoted to her faith. That's one thing, whenever we met, we first went into prayer and should pray for me before I talk to her. I said, I will also pray for you before we talk. That's set us going. I've known Katherine for a very long time. From the time she was young, maybe before these children were born, we worked with my husband and Katherine's husband worked in various circles of our national endeavors, and we just grew up as a family. Catherine has been one of the people whose house I just walked in, and we cooked, we ate. I come from Busia. People from Akisi would be wondering how I came so close to Catherine. Because you have just defined who she was. She was a person of all people. Catherine had no boundaries. I'm calling her my daughter, my sister, my friend, and I'm from Busia. And she came to Busia, she has come and stayed with me in my small place. Catherine came, the two of us would stay in a small house on a hill, and she's not afraid. I said, aren't you afraid of coming, stay in a shamba like here? He said, this is what I like. Catherine was down to earth. And she was very sincere in all that she did. She was brave, she was honest, and that's why she was so successful in the job she did as migration officer. You needed that, to be strong, be sincere, be brave. And she achieved for us as a nation. She achieved for us as women. She achieved for us as families. Today we are celebrating a Kenyan. Catherine was a politician. Catherine was a civil society, like you have listened to. Catherine was a mother. Catherine was a sister. Catherine was a Christian in the church. And Catherine was just somebody like us. You met her and she was nothing. She was just a woman. And if we wanted to relate to Catherine, you related to her at that level. Then she was very happy. Take me as just a simple girl. I'm just Catherine, you know. When I take off my titles and we go to work with the ladies in the field there, we are like them. So we don't. We are nothing other than just that in the eyes of God. And we took life that stride with Catherine. I'm so happy that we are gathering here in this manner, where we look at life as all of us being equal, all of us deserving to be there, all of us deserving to be honored, all of us deserving to be recognized, to live and to be peaceful. Mine is just to wish Catherine peace. And I'm sure Catherine is peaceful. I was with Catherine just before she left. I drove her up to the gate of her house before she went to Nyamira. I didn't know she was going to not to return. And we promised each other we were going to meet and share our wuji. Catherine got me used to the Wimbi wuji of Nyamira. And I don't know why she got Wimbi from. She always stand up with Wimbi for me, Wimbi flower, whenever she went there. She would come and pass, drop it there and go. And then when it pleased, she said, come. I came home and there was the thermos flask of Wimbi wuji all the time. God rest her in peace.
Thank you so much. So I realized I did not properly introduce Dr. Julia Ojambo. Dr. Julia Ojambo, in the beginning, when I started becoming politically aware, there was only one elected member of parliament, woman elected member of parliament. That was always Grace Onyango. She became only the second woman to be elected in parliament, became the first woman to be appointed in the government as an assistant minister, and was the only one for the longest time. So through the example that she has set, just by being there, just by doing the things that men are assumed to have the power to do, and somehow women don't have that power, just by her example, she has opened the way for so many women in ways that we now take for granted. And before us, we have a living legend. Thank you so much. We are so privileged to have you here, Mama. So Honorable Martha Karua, this is your chance. On the footsteps that Honorable Julia Jambo has said before her, has served in government at a time when we take it a little more for granted, but it's still difficult for women, has also had her own in as a
completely new. It's completely new. I will begin, therefore, by agreeing we need to document these things. We need a book that not only celebrates our dear sister, Honorable Katherine Moraa Nyamato, but we need a larger book that celebrates the steps women have taken. Why? We need the women of today to learn. Look backwards, see the work that is done, and see the work that is cut out for them today. Mkosa mira ni mtumwa. If we don't document, if we do not celebrate who we are, then we will be people without people without a future. Katherine was a friend. We served together in Parliament. That was the 8th Parliament, 97, to a practice that was endangering women, and that was actually femicide, not just in Gusiland, but also in Kilifi and in other places. Someone will have to convince me why the older woman becomes a witch and the older man is not affected by that, by aging in the same way. We have allowed ourselves in society to discriminate against women and to commit all manner of atrocities against them. I was imagining as this issue, when we go to say Pole to the family, you are carrying on with the tradition of your mother. Katherine was not just a political friend. We developed a close bond. She stood by me whenever I was in need. She visited me in Kirinyaga. I was a visitor, constant visitor in her home in Kisii, in Nairobi, and we were forever in communication. She was the women's leader of then NAK Kenya, now the People's Liberation Party, for close to 10 years. And she remained a very strong supporter, even after moving out of the leadership. Katherine is many things to many people. We cannot eulogize her in the limited time that is available. But I'm grateful to hear suggestions. Firstly, to put a booklet of these eulogies for the family, but also to document the women's journey with the many women who contributed, so that as a reference for other generations and for the people. Now, interestingly, we lost Katherine hours after we had lost another dear friend and senior female leader of many fasts, just like Katherine, and that is the Honorable Phoebe Asio. Their events are going shoulder to shoulder, so that from here, and why we asked to be called in a hurry, is because we are going to visit the family of Phoebe with a few senior women, because we have to split the time. Both services of the two ladies are on the same day, on the 6th. One at 10, one at 11. That is the same time, different churches. Their fundraisings are tomorrow. Their burial is on Friday, both of them. When you lose two, then you bury both. So we have just to know how to organize ourselves. For those of us who are friends to both ladies, we are making a conscious decision to make sure that we give dignity and respect to both, because they are our icons. I want to tell the family of Katherine, the rich legacy your mother left. I am sure you are also hearing things you do not know. May it be a source of comfort and pride. we are very proud ourselves of the legacy that our dear sister and friend left. May she rest in power. I know I'll have an occasion to eulogize her more when we take her home in Nyamira. Allow us to go early. A few of us, we are trying to tell some who are to go, please don't come, because there will be more time. Let just a handful of us go so that this function continues. I salute the human rights movement for this celebration. It is an encouragement to each one of us to be a human rights defender. When you defend somebody's rights, you defend your own rights. When you allow other people's rights to be violated, you set a stage for the violation of your own rights. Katherine has shown us. Let us all stand up as human rights defenders. May she rest in power. Asanteni.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa for those powerful words. The CS lands, Madam Alice Wahome has to leave. How do I introduce you? First, you're a government official, a very, very high, a state official, a state officer, but you've had many roles in women's leadership. She was a leader in FIDA when I first got to know her. She's a lawyer by profession. I had the pleasure of serving with her in the Council of the Law Society, and thank you very much because you looked after me those years. I still remember that, and thank you for standing with this family at this time. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, George, for those kind words of introduction. I was worried that you would forget that we served in the same council under the chairmanship of Dr. Kuria as a council member, and you were our secretary. Very diligent and hardworking. My Lord, the retired Chief Justice, Justice David Maraga, also former President of the Supreme Court. They are dignitaries here in terms of titles. Allow me to start on protocols observed by everybody and say a few words in eulogizing my friend Katherine. Sometimes, George is introducing me as government. I don't know whether that is suitable in this particular case, because I came to celebrate the life of my friend Katherine as a friend. But yes, the titles are there and they are part of our work right now. I'm really one of those people who was taken by surprise by this death, because Katherine is my neighbor. But having known her before, she wasn't unwell as far as I'm concerned, because she was ever smiling. Those who have said how smart she was, truly Katherine stood out in all our meetings, both at boardroom or even ordinary tea meetings, because she would come out fully dressed, makeup, well-groomed, sharp, and her nails, you'll never catch her like you would catch up many of us, because sometimes we are too busy. You never catch her with nails that are actually broken and things like that. She would top it with a smart scarf, her dressing with a smart scarf, always. A handbag that was not the ordinary handbag, and plus shoes matching with that. I know her in terms of the work in the women movement. And I'm happy that George and your team have been able to translate that into human rights cause. Because I'm sure when Katherine was coming to support the cause for the women and to fight that people be taken to court, she was doing it possibly from the perspective of a women rights defender. But you see, it's true. It's also justice, human rights cause. And therefore, I think it really brings out what we have always said as women, that women rights are first human rights. And then maybe then you can categorize thereafter. I met Catherine the first in the League of Kenya Women Voters, where she was our Secretary General. She was very diplomatic in delivery of her message. And having known before then that she was a former member of parliament nominated, I could understand her elegance, even in terms of political, presentation. Catherine was strategic in what she did and what she said. She may be very upset, but she will be very slow to speaking, out in condemnation. But she will still find a way of telling you that wasn't right. I also thought that she was extremely kind. Catherine won't enter into open fights, even when you need sometimes to fight, whether in the women movement or in the political movement, because you know all those fights around. But she would be there and not be among the first. You could call her a peacemaker in those kind of nasty periods. So we did a lot of work with her, both in the women movement, the League of Kenya Women Voters, where we had political empowerment and economic empowerment for women. I'm sure in nationally and more so, Abaguzi community must have benefited because we had many groups from her region that were our members. It is for me very sad, and this I just direct to the Abaguzi community, that Catherine never became an elected member of parliament because she put in a lot of work, a lot of mobilization, a lot of investment. Her home always open. And she would tell me that she cooks. Personally, my campaign, and I was given 3 terms, I never fed people in my home. I didn't even have a home. It was my mother's home, so I always ran away. I didn't want to use it as my political base because then I would kill my mother earlier than necessary. So, but Catherine would always have either githeri, she would have madizi, she would cook and have an open. Catherine would always have the smartest food, I think. Her house open to all of us. Then we met, of course, in NAC, Kenya, where she was sitting at the neck. I was also at the neck as the Deputy Secretary General, NAC Kenya, the party led by Honorable Mother Karua. I think we sharpened a lot of our skills during those days because Mother Karua would insist on good governance, and therefore we did learn a lot. Some of the other things that I learned was under the Law Society of Kenya, and of course as a practicing lawyer. So I know that in NAC Kenya, maybe better than Catherine, but I think the communities down here have opened. So it is time for the Abaguzi also to open up for women leadership, because I think you are richer, you are better with women leadership together with male leadership. And I'm quite aware that I'm speaking in the presence of the former Chief Justice, and I have heard him. He has some good ideas on how we can change Kenya. So therefore, my maybe message to the children is, if you just took even half of what your mother, don't take half, of course, you take 1.5 or 3 times, but your mother's memories, the work she did, how she did it, how she nurtured the people around her and made friendship, I think you will be quite holistic. And I know that I have met you in your homes. She was very loving, and therefore there is a lot of memories, fond memories, that you can actually use to help you bear the pain and the loss of your mom. She was a beautiful woman, a beautiful soul, a generous person, a women rights defender. Now we have learned properly, a human rights defender, And of course, economic empowerment for women was also top on her list. I hope no other women in Kisiland or in Muranga or elsewhere in this country will die because they have been labeled witches. It's really not where we should be as a country. I don't want to say beyond that, George. Thank you also for texting. Catherine is texting me in terms of this particular ceremony for Catherine. I am also her neighbor in where she lives, so it's really a loss for me and even the neighborhood. Thank you very much, and God bless you. I have to leave, George. I know you wanted the government to stay. You know, government is all of us. It's all of us. I don't know what you mean that government should not go. These people are also government. In fact, we are basically trustees, and I'm sure they have their own ideas as whether we are doing it right or not. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa Alice Wahome. Even as you leave, there are other government officials still left here. Of course, Madam Kamweru, we have the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, my friend, Madam Frida Mokaya. Thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, I think so. Government is still present in the room. Asanteni sana. Recognizing the media and entertainment legend, the blackest man in Black Africa, Uncle Fred Obachi Machoka Choka na yeye. Thank you very much for joining us. Recognizing PS Alice Mayaka, PS William Mayaka, thank you very much for joining us. PS Mbaka, thank you very much for joining us. Peter Kagwanja, thank you very much for joining us.
Sarah, I came with Sarah Muhoya. Sarah is quite a popular name or a common name within the women movement and our circle, Sarah Muhoya. Thank you very much, and a friend of Catherine. Thank you, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. We are very happy to have you. I was also going to say, PS Mbaka, thank you very much, retired PS. Mr. Nyakiongora Joseph, thank you very much. I saw you in the room. Mr. Joseph Joe Sagero, my friend, who is also a commissioner in the government. Thank you very much. And we'll continue now with remarks by my sister Betty Karago. We now need to make them really, really constricted. We still have a longish list, and we've kind of reached the time we promised you by which to end. So everybody who comes, please.
Thank you very much, George, for this opportunity. And standing on the protocols that have been established before me, I wish to take this moment to honor our departed sister, Honorable Katherine Nyamato. It's indeed with deep respect and heartfelt sorrow that I join fellow Kenyans in commemorating the life of Honorable Katherine Moraa Nyamato, a trailblazer whose legacy, as we have clearly heard, continues to inspire generations. As the first female member of parliament from Gusii, Katherine broke barriers with grace and conviction, becoming a political icon and a fearless advocate for gender equality and human rights. Her distinguished career in public service included her tenure as Chief Principal Immigration Officer within the Kenya government. In this role, she not only shaped policy as clearly elaborated by Ms. Amdani, but also became a powerful role model for young girls across the country, proving that leadership is not bound by gender, but by courage, competence, and character. Katherine's life was a testament to the resilience required of professional women navigating complex social norms and institutional barriers. She faced these challenges with unwavering determination, always striving to uplift others and improve her community. This was very clear by the presentation made by our sister in the pictorial presentations that we just went through. Her advocacy against harmful cultural practices like FGM, early marriages, and also, as clearly indicated, the violence meted against elderly women on account of practicing witchcraft. And her commitment to protecting women's rights earned her the admiration of the human rights community and the enduring respect of her peers. On a personal note, I fondly remember attending school with her daughter, Rosalind, and a connection that brings this loss even closer to heart. To Rosalind and the entire Nyamato family, I extend my deepest condolences. May you find comfort in the knowledge that Catherine's life was purposeful, her impact profound, and her legacy eternal. As we gather today here at the Kenya National Museums to celebrate her life, let us honor Katherine, not only in memory, but in action, by continuing the work she so passionately championed and by nurturing the dreams of every girl who dares to dream to lead. May her soul rest in peace and her spirit live on in the hearts of all she touched. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Karago, for your touching remarks. Next, we have Commissioner Joe Sagero. Is the commissioner in the Nairobi Rivers Commission. He's a friend of this family. I know he was a very, very close friend of not just Mama, but also the children. And I'm sure it's very comforting for them to see you here.
Amjambo. Mimi nasimama hapa. Nilimjua Katherine 1987. Wakati nilikuwa nakuja university. My first day in Nairobi. Kule Isili kulikuwa na mama alikuwa anaitwa Mokeira Omoyo. That's when I led my father knew in Nairobi. Akaniambia ukifika stage ya country bus utafuta uende Isili muonane na Mokeira. Mama Mokeira ni marehemu. So when I arrived, Mokeira akaintroduce, akasema mtoto ametoka Kitale. It's his first time kuja Nairobi. The 2 days I was waiting to report at the university, Kenyatta, akasikia shida zangu. Sikuwa na viatu, akaninunulia na akanifanyia shopping. But I'm standing here because Cyrus Nyamato was my good friend. I'm standing here kwa wale wanaume ambao wakikubaliana na bibi yake watu wanasema ametawalwa kwa Wakisii. Because wakati Mama Katherine alipoanza kusimama kura, kila mtu alikuwa anamwambia mzee umetawalwa, wewe ndio ungesimama. Kwa mzee kukubali kwamba Katherine asimame, he was also courageous. I remember one day I was a dio Machakos. Wazee walikuwa wametoka West Mogirango, clan ya Menge family, kwamba Katherine asisimame. Mzee akanipigia simu na mama akanipigia simu, wakanitumia pesa nikanunua mbuzi. Mzee akaniambia pita Kafiko Machakos kuja na whisky na kila kitu. Ukifika hapa ongea na wazee kama dio. Tukaongea, mama akaondoka. Mmeongea juu ya chakula. I will say something. Kwamba Kama kuna mwanamke aliyekujua kwamba mzaa anakula nini, ni Katherine. Cyrus alikuwa anataka matumbo yake kando, nyama yake kando, alikuwa na klasi mrefu ya maziwa. Ikiwekwa kando, tukule. So I became so much, if you look at my shape, I became so much associated with Katherine and Nyamato, because when every weekend, when I was in Machakos, we had to have lunch with Mzee Nyamato at 3 o'clock. Akule chakula yake, aenda alale paka saa 11, aamuke ndio tukuje kuongea. Hakuna mtu alikuwa anajua kupika kama Katherine. By the way, and you will excuse me about that part of his courage, alikuwa nominated. Part of the reason he got nominated was about his cooking. Because Biwott and Moi used to like, when they were living near Katherine Gardens, you remember that? We could come to the house, me and I could be in another room with Biwott, the president comes, Biwott anamjoin na Cyrus wanamjoin, wanakula ugali ya wimbi na maziwa na mboga. So when it was being nominated, I said, kama hakuwa anajua kupiga, angepata hiyo. I'm just encouraging some politicians here, some senior people here. Where Emily, kama unataka kuwa women rep, don't stop cooking. Don't stop cooking for your husband and your husband's friends. Biwott could discuss about that food every time. Tukitoka ananiambia, na nyinyi wanawake wengi wanachua kupiga. In his last days, Biwott kept on blaming me. That you have been my friend for 27 years, but the only mistake you made, you never made sure that I get a kissy woman, and chue kunipigia na hasa watoto wengi, because my mother gave 12 kids. I got to listen, mama yake alizaa watoto ngapi? Mwambia 12. Sasa if you are my friend for 27 years, all these years ukinitafutia mtu mwenye angenipigia na mwenye anajua kupiga. Let me now talk to Katherine. Nataka nimuongeleze Katherine. Hata speech yangu ilikuwa imeharibiwa because Katherine, wewe ndio ulikuwa wa kwanza mimi kuona ukilete mtu kwa nyumba kusafisha miguu yako na vidole. Mpaka nilipoenda America nikakuwa nurse, then I saw the importance ya kuosha vidole. Katherine, you are great. Katherine, wewe ndio wa kwanza niliona mwanamke akiendeza muso when the muso came. Katherine, wewe ndio wa kwanza niliona ukiwa mjumbe lakini unaheshimu bwana yako. Katherine, you were the first senior migration officer. Katherine, ulipenda watoto wako. Nakumbuka nikiwa Dio Chepkorio, alikuja na mtoto wake Dr. Menge mpaka kwangu. Akaniambia nimekuachia huyu mtoto. Na nikiangalia nyinyi wote, I know jinsi alikuwa anawapenda. Mama lala salama. Na wanaume wa Kisii. Wanaume wa Kisii tuwe kama Nyamato. Aliyekubalia bwana bibi yake akasimama kura. Wanaume wa Kisii tuwache utumwa ya wanawake. Wanaume wa Kisii tuwache ukeketaji wa wanawake. Wanaume wa Kisii tuwe wa kwanza kukubali kwamba mwanamke anaweza kuwa mjumbe. Na nyinyi wanawake wa Kisii, stop being your own enemies. You are able to elect a member of parliament. Sakini za wanawake wa Kisii ampendane. Kwa hayo machache, Katherine, kwa heri. Utakapokutana na Cyrus Nyamato, what was his middle name? Alikuwa na jina nzuri, alikuwa anapenda. Ako welcome. Ako tenge tingi nyekengaini. Kiliyo bondi kiaga chemblego tuage so umana ko Nyamata na utanga. That was Nyamato was. Thank you. She was the only woman, she was the only woman who could brew pusa in Karen for Nyamato. When Nyamato wanted pusa, Katherine could do it. Mama nenda salama, watoto wamepakia wema, asante, asante gavana wangu, asante kwa sababu wewe ulisimama na wale wamama wachawi, wanasema ni wachawi. Hakuna mtu mchawi. I was in Kisii last week attending a funeral of a friend's father. Kufika kwa compound tukapata kuna joto kwamba our small uncle is around And we don't know what he's doing around, na yeye ndiye aliwa baba yetu. Looking at the eulogy book, the mzee was 91 years. Sasa huyu angemroga mtu namna gani ako 91 years? Kwa hayo machache, Katherine nenda salama. George, thank you. Thank you. By the way, I have not attended any function of Katherine. I don't believe that Katherine alikufa. I don't. She used to call me every week. Every week. Tunaongea. Nimekuwa na wewe ndio ulipanga, ule ni sister wa Katherine, ule ndiye aliniletea viatu na mfuko ya George. Nitumia lugha ya Kiswahili kwa sababu hata Kiingereza ni utumwa. Kama mnapigania utumwa wanawake, pia pigana utumwa, tusiongee Kiingereza peke yake. And this only function I've seen women, George umefanya kazi mzuri. Many functions men talk many, lakini hii umejaribu wanawake ndio wameongea. Mungu akubariki, upate watoto wengi na mali.
Thank you very, very much, Joe. I knew you would do a very good justice. It was very nice to bring that touching human side to the Nyamato family. Next is the Honorable Emily Nyagarama. I'll give you just 3 minutes, sister. Najua ulikuwa sana unataka kuwa ilikuwa kitu kidogo, kasoro kidogo, utapata. You have the floor. Yes.
No. Praise the Lord. All protocols observed. The family of Mama. I'm one of you. Mama was a beautiful soul. Mimi hata, I've not been around, lakini me, I have a personal story. I'll just speak just that and then we'll be hearing the rest. But Mama took me through our clan. She mentioned each and every person. And she was very close to my dad. And she told me, I have isaransa agaiga ngotebi asekwa ruete. And in 2022, she took time to come to my home every morning and campaign with me. So, aside from that, she was also an ex-Nyabruru. We are here. Dr. Roslyn Akombe is here. So we were brought up well. She trained us well. She told us how to dress. I cannot even stand here to even say. But to the family, we are together. We mourn our hero. She mentored us, my political journey. She loved everyone. She knew everyone by name. Abanyamatuta Moraa Emeritus, you'd know, she told me there's even people who came and we welcomed them and all these other things. But we thank God for her life. A lot I've heard that I didn't know, that she was a champion. May we follow in her path. May God bless you. And thank you all for coming. We are welcoming you at Nyamira. We wait for you. And may God truly bless you. May God rest our mama in eternal peace. And we love you and we'll be together. And now for me, she's also my neighbor. So the Banyamatutas who went to scheme, including my dad. So again, we are neighbors with Governor Ongwa and everyone, and we welcome you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Emily was a contestant for the Nyamira women's seat last time. She's a highborn. She's the daughter of a governor. So next time utapata, tutakusaidia sana. Tutapush kidogo utapita ma. Thank you so much. And they are talking clan issues with the Banyamatuta. That's a small clan. Wanasema wao ni clever sana. Hatujui kama ni ukweli ama sio ukweli. But there are so many here. So that is, I think, part of the evidence. So we don't have that many speakers left. I think we'll just have, let's do it democratically. We want a small musical interlude, then we'll have 3 speakers, and then we will finish. We'll go to the family to give their sort of response to the tributes they've had. Does that sound fair? Very good. Thank you very much. Marshals, you have the floor.
Yeah. All right. This song is called Weka Wega. Weka Wega means ukifanya vizuri. Ukifanya vizuri, ndio umejifanyia. And when you do good, you do it to yourself. And I think inabefit huyu shujaa wetu sana. And you can join us in celebrating her through this song.
When you do good, you do it to yourself. Weka weka, weka. When you do good, you do it to yourself. You're like a river that runs day and night.
You go to bed, but you don't sleep.
It's like a butterfly, you're bright in the sky.
My beautiful sun keep rising.
You're like a river that runs day and night.
You go to bed, but you don't sleep.
Just like the butterfly, you're bright in the sky.
Magical sunshine keep rising.
Weka weka,
weka. When you do good,
you do it to yourself.
weka weka, weka. When you do good, you do it to yourself. All the things you've done for we.
Go out there and spread it far and wide.
All the love you shown to we.
Put a smile on everyone's face. Weka weka,
Weka
weka,
Nyamato, when you do good, you do it to yourself. Katherine,
weka
weka. When you do good, you do it to yourself.
Machozi yanidondoka nikisema
Masaheri,
dada twakuenzi sisi
semi kwa heri,
machozi
yanidondoka
nikisema
Masaheri,
dada
twakuenzi
sisi
semi kwa heri.
weka
Weka weka, when you do good, you do it to yourself. Weka weka, when you do good, you do it to yourself.
weka
when you do good, you do it to yourself. Weka weka, everybody. When you do good, you do it to yourself. One more. Weka weka, when you do good, you do it to yourself.
When you do heri.
Dada,
Twakuenzi Nyamato,
sisi,
semi kwa heri. Again.
Machozi yanidondoka nikisema
Masafiri,
Dada Nyamato,
twakuenzi.
sisi,
Semi kwa heri. Weka wega, ni wewe ika. When you do good, you do it to yourself. Weka wega, ni wewe ika. Katherine, when you do good, you do it to yourself. Ya mwisho, weka wega, ni wewe ika. When you do good,
you do it to yourself.
How about a tick? Thank you. Yeah, we have this other song which we hope you're going to join us in. You have to join us on this one, for sure. Written by Ruth Mombi, Comrade. Ah, Matoya, I see you too. Yeah. Sheila, Comrade. Donkey Murphy, loving comrade. Here you are, far away from home. Yes, we love you, still we need you for the peace you've done for us. Makatilili, loving comrade, here you are, far away from home. Yes, we love you, still we need you for the things you've done for us. Shindareri, loving comrade, here you are, far away from home. Yes, we love you, still we need you for the things you've done for us. Yogama Pinto, loving comrade, here you are, far away from home. Yes, we love you, still we need you for the things you've done for us. Muloni Nyanjiro, loving comrade, here you are, far away from home. Yes, we love you, still we need you for the things you've done for us. Georgie Moraa, loving comrade, here you are, far away from home. Yes, we love you, still we need you for the things you've done for us. Bildad Kagia, loving comrade, here you are, far away from home. Yes, we love you, still we need you for the peace you've done for us. Wangare Matai, loving comrade, here you are, far away from home. Yes, we love you, still we need you for the things you've done for us. Katherine Nyamato, loving comrade, here you are, far away Lagat Mutai, loving comrade. Here we are, far away from home. Yes, we love you, still we need you for the things you've done for us. Sarina Patella, loving comrade. Here you are, far away from home. Yes, we love you, still we need you for the things you've done for us. Wamama wa Kenya, loving comrades. Here you are, far away from home. Yes, we love you, still we need you for the things you've done for us. Jackie na mama, loving comrades. Here you are, far away from home. We love you, still we need you for the things you've done for us. Start with Mumbi, loving comrades. Here you are, far away from home. Yes, we love you, still we need you for the things you've done for us. Wanjirana Sefu, loving comrades. Here you are, far away from home. Yes, we love you, still we need you for the things you've done for us. Nishuja Nyamato, Nishuja Katherine Nyamato, Nishuja Nyamato, Nishuja Katherine Nyamato. Oh, Dio mana tuna sema nishu. Oh, Dio mana tuna sema nishuja. Oh, Dio mana tuna sema nishuja. Oh, Dio mana tuna sema nishuja. Nishuja Moraa Nyamato. Nishuja Malikia wetu. Nishuja Moraa Nyamato. Nishuja Malkia wetu. Ndio maana tunasema nishuja. Ndio maana tunasema nishuja. Ndio maana tunasema nishuja. Ndio maana tunasema nishuja. Nishuja Shila Masinde. Nishuja Roslina Kombe. Nishuja Madam Yagarama. Nishuja Zaini Abubaka. Nishuja ndio maana tunasema nishuja. Ndio maana tunasema nishuja. Ndio maana tunasema nishuja. Ndio maana tunasema nishuja. Nishuja na ndugu wote. Nishuja na dada wote. Nishuja na jenzi. Nishuja Rexi Masai. Nishuja ndio maana tunasema nishuja. 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 Ndio maana
Ladies from the County Assembly of Nyamira,
Kisii and Nairobi. I was one of them. And she was my chair in the WDN. WDN is Women Democracy Network. I was her vice chair. So poleni sana. And one thing I want to say here is Mama was never selfish. I remember one time in the county assembly, we were not allowed to go for meetings in New York. I went and told her, we really want to go for the CSW. And she said, don't worry, I'll sort you out. She sorted us out, and we went to New York. We didn't know where to stay. She put us in Pod 59 in New York. So I've never forgotten. We are really grateful. Mungu awafariji, muendelee hivyo hivyo, tuko pamoja, and the legacy of this country. I've seen Cyprian. Umewambia unataka kuwa governor wa Nairobi? Tafadhali. Thank you so much. On behalf of Mama, we have a leader there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What you see, you are in Cyprian, I can say you are very discerning. I also see a leader. Thank you so much. The next speaker is His Excellency Governor James Ongwae, Governor Emeritus Kisii County. Thank you very much for what you did with Mama when you were in office. We've talked about it and we've said good stories about you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, my brother, retired Chief Justice, somebody we grew up with, the family of Nyamato. I stand here talking about a person who actually, in a sense, also brought me up. When I left university, the first job that I did was to be an immigration officer. And when I went to the immigration department, it used to be in the current Bima House. The Kisii person I met there was Madam Nyamato. And then she called me Omoigua. For the cases, you probably know what that means. She called me Moigua. And she called me that because her husband, John Silas Nyamato, grew up and were great friends with my uncle, my maternal uncle, and they shared a name. When they were growing up, they said they were going to have the same names. My uncle's name was John Silas Achoki. So that's when I realized, and then I met Nyamato. And we were together for many years. So in a sense, I'm talking about somebody that we worked with, somebody who showed me how to start working in government. Amdani, Madam Amdani, you are here. You talked about your dad. Your dad and Madam Nyamato and myself, I was actually your dad's deputy at the airport when I was working in immigration. So, and for the children, I saw you people as young kids because that was, I'm talking about when I started working, that was 50 years ago. And I used to come to your place. Most of you were small little kids then. And this is a family that I've known for a long time. And this is a lady that I can tell you very many things about. But because of time, I probably won't do that. But I want to tell you that when this issue of witches happened, I think, George, I called you. You came to Kisii. We had a formative meeting together. She was there. At that time that the witches thing happened, we were almost getting out of government. And I went to Egesa, I went to all these places, castigating what had happened. And I then decided that we needed to create a small task force to look into the issue and also for the report to come out clearly. The report came out. I talked about that report again in Egesa, and I left it because at that time I was getting out of government. I left it with the person that took over from me because government is perpetual. This is something that we probably as Kisis we need to follow. The Marani place you're talking about is a place which is not very far from my home. And I went there and sent my deputy governor to be there. The report was received by my county attorney and the then head of service, my head of service. So we took it very serious, George. We didn't throw it away. As Kisis, let's be together. We are a strong community in this country. Let's be together, and we have always been together, and that's what Nyamato, Katherine used to say. I talked to her about a month ago, and the things she was telling me were very, very strong things about our own community and the togetherness of that community. As we go forward, let's ensure that we, as a community, we are together and we are talking the same language. When you come home to the scheme, your house in the scheme for the children of Katherine, my house is about less than 1,000 meters away. So we stay in the same place. But do know that for us as human beings, this is our destiny. It's a journey that we all must travel. Doesn't matter whether we cry, whether we do what, it's a journey that one day you'll travel. I can only wish that Katherine travels well. She was a fantastic person. Don't want to repeat those things of food and so on, because I was a frequent visitor. The father, we worked with the father together, with your father together in office of the president for about 24 years with John Silas Nyamato. And he was a strong man. In fact, the people who were working in the office and what he was in charge of, you just never played around with John Silas Nyamato. You also, for those of us who worked in immigration, you never played around with Katherine, because she was a very, very strong person also. So I can only say that she travels well. Let her travel with the Lord. And for the family and the children, be strong, because this is our destiny as human beings. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you. I am an honorary Gen Z. I am a millennial, but I will take it, and I'll also speak close to the podium so that I can hopefully gain senior status. Yeah? Really important. Allow me to stand on the protocols that have been observed already, and also allow me to tap into the fiery spirit of who Mama was, because it takes only a fiery spirit to survive the politics of the 90s. Beyond the cooking, beyond everything she did, you know, within the multiple women, we acknowledge her role in the home, but we also acknowledge her fiery spirit. So women power. Women power. Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you. So first of all, allow me just to acknowledge the incredible young women who are in this space, and the ones who are not here. I recognize Marcy Jelimo, Nerima Wako, Bina Maseno, Wanjiru Wanjira, Sefu, and other young women who continue to carry the fire of Mama today. We stand on their shoulders, we stand on the shoulders of all the women who came before us, all the women who organized at times when, or in periods where we didn't have the constitution that we have today, where it was more difficult. But because of them, we are here. And because they paved the path for us, I'm going to take 3 minutes, George. Yeah? Because that path was paved for us young women. So I won't take 2, I'll just take 3. We stand on the shoulders of the incredible women, the heroes that came before us, those that organized in times where simply existing as a woman was an act of defiance. We stand on the shoulders of Katherine Nyamato, Moraa Nyamato, Chelagat Mutai, Wahuka Ara, Muthoni Nanjiru, Mekatilili wa Mwenza and the mothers and wives of Mau Mau.
We've talked about trailblazers a lot, as well as courage. We've talked about trailblazers a lot, as well as courage. She's a trailblazer from the community. She became the first woman to become an advocate many years ago. Thank you very much for establishing a trend that so many people have followed after you.
Thank you so much, George. I don't even know where to start, because this is something that happened so unexpectedly, but Katherine was my very, very good friend. We are talking about a legacy. I won't take a minute. I just wanted to persuade the Kisii community that if we really believe in Katherine as we have spoken, let us open up to our women. Let us see what happens in 2017. Let's speak. Even in meetings, you'll find 9 men talking, and then we'll get a place for just one woman here and there. But most important is that we believe in our legacy. Let us open up to our women. And lastly, that Katherine was as beautiful in her heart as she was in her physique. She was lovely. She was a good cook, and all the things that have been said about Katherine are really true. We'll miss her. I wish that we could celebrate our heroes while they're alive. We talked about that yesterday in the house, Nyamato's house, and we agreed that we shall be calling our heroes and celebrating them and talking to them so that they can smile away, not after they have gone. To Katherine's children, I really, really wish you the very, very best. And having a mother like her is good enough to smile as we walk. Let her rest in peace. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jane, for that speech and for keeping it short. We draw ever closer to the last speeches. The next speaker is all the way from New York. She's traveled a very, very long way to be with us here. Commissioner Dr. Roslyn Akombe. We've spoken a lot about courage this afternoon. She represents courage in her own right. She served with integrity as a member of the IEBC, and you know what happened there. Rather than go along with that, she courageously and loudly resigned her position, and we continue to live in admiration of you. We know that things went really badly, and we know that people who, like you, stand in courage get vilified. We also try to defend you. It's never enough, but we are grateful that you have trailed, you blazed the trail of courage that we've talked about here, and you've traveled such a long way to be with this family.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my brother George, as I call you GK, Omo brother. Thank you so much for those kind words and for always being there for me. I was going to skip the protocols, but then I saw that there's a former Chief Justice who annulled results for which I had participated in. So let me start by recognizing the presence of Chief Justice Emeritus, former governor, and other esteemed leaders that are here with us today. And to my sisters, Roslyn and Maureen, and to your brothers, and our last born, Judy, Daktari, and Peter, I want to say poleni sana. For me, this is a mother I have lost. So I mourn with you because she truly is a mother to me. Because, George, you spoke about the time in 2017. I used to get a verse every morning from Mama Katherine, every morning. And it didn't stop. Even on the day that she passed away, I still got the verse. So that's why it shocked me when I learned that she had passed away, because I was like, but she just sent me a verse this morning. And how could she just go like that? What you also might not know is that during those times, I used to avoid eating because I did not know what somebody might add to my food. You know what Mama Catherine used to do? She knew I loved tea and matoke. So she used to boil matoke and she'll make tea and she'll bring it to my office at anniversary hours. Together with my auntie Gladys Getugi, those are the people who kept me alive in terms of nutrition. So for that, I will forever be grateful. And whenever I got really, really nervous and scared, she would tell me, "Umanye teogo chakwaleba unaye no muigwa w'abanyamatuta. Abanyamatuta mbali boba." The translation, you can get it later. But that courage, that always reminding me to be brave, to be courageous, to do the right thing, is something I will never forget. Because she started it very early when I was a student leader at the University of Nairobi. When I wanted to contest for the student leadership, it was Mama Catherine who encouraged me and said that if you don't stand, if you don't do what you feel is right for you, we will not have women in places of leadership. And that courage helped me to run, and I won as a student leader at the University of Nairobi. Then she held my hand again in the women's movement. And I was privileged to have been trained by one of the very best, her friend, Professor Wanjiku Kabira, who gave me a job the day after I actually finished university. Very rare that you can find that. So I watched all the brilliant women that I saw here today. I was in their presence as part of the Kenya Women Political Caucus. So I saw the journey that Mama Catherine played. I saw her walk. But as Dr. Abuya and I wrote in yesterday's paper, we have collectively failed Mama Catherine. We collectively did not recognize what she did when she was alive. I wish she had seen all this love when she was alive. I really, really wish that she had seen that we acknowledge, we respect. We gave her flowers while she was alive. But I'm glad that we've done it nonetheless. This last that she faced, I remember that very well. I was in high school when she ran for Member of Parliament from the Democratic Party. It was unusual to hear of a woman in Kisii running. And for us who are at Nyabururu Girls High School, and thank you, Rivera, you didn't do that Rivera thing for us today. Thank you for acknowledging that, because Catherine was a former student at Nyabururu Girls High School. And so for us, of course, of course, also our first lawyer. You see, Nyabururu Girls produced many firsts, including the first lawyer from Gusii, who's a woman. And so we remember as young women, young girls in school, that this beautiful, she was beautiful. She's still beautiful. Maureen, you just took exactly after your mother. I mean, I'm just hoping that we got the appeal here that we need more women in those elected positions. And I heard somebody say that there is somebody who's sitting in our midst who might be running for president. So, I mean, Maureen, you might just end up being the running mate. And then we can have a double whammy from Kisii. And so we'll have not only just a first elected person, but it's a first elected deputy president who's a woman, and you'll be able to fit into the shoes that your mother has left. I know I was not supposed to say all this, but you see, I've come from very far. So I thought I might as well just say all those things now. So I really want to say to my sisters, to my brothers, I know the loss is huge. I know it's a shock. But Mom's legacy is one that we have no choice but to carry. The book that we've been challenged, so my comrade Davis, I'm definitely going to be following up with you, because we do need to document the lives of these great people and great women of Kenya. To the young women, I was so happy to hear Nafula speak, because this is what Katherine did to all of us, Mama Katherine. She was great at mentorship. Cyprian, you remember that. She mentored us. I'm sure Mtata must have also seen the fruits of all that mentorship and benefited, because I see you with young people around. So you're a beneficiary by extension of all the mentorship that Katherine did. And so I hope that we can continue the legacy that Mama Katherine left, and that we'll continue trailing opening more trails for people, that will continue standing for the things that she stood for. And I'm sure Mheshimiwa Zain, you'll agree with me that there are many things that she did that we now have an opportunity to continue pushing, to continue moving forward with them. Asante sana, and I hope that these celebrations that we are doing, we can also be able to do them when people are alive, so that they can be able to really acknowledge and see, I mean, imagine doing this for Fred Machoka, when he can sit here, right? And we sing, and we have our beautiful choir of my friend Giduku playing, and it would be really beautiful. So let's normalize giving flowers to people where they're alive. But I just want to thank you, George, really for your leadership. I know that this is something that we had to put together very quickly. Thank you so much for making it so beautiful and so meaningful. And thank you for always, always being there to support human rights defenders. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Rosalie. As one of the people who have worked closely with Rosalie around the time all these things happened, 2017, and just seeing her survive that political backlash, which followed her to New York, and remained in her life, and remains in her life up to now. The personal, it's what you've gone through is worth many books, and I think you need to write your own book. And if you're going to give people their flowers in their own lifetime, you're also very richly deserving of your own flowers for what you continued and have done for this country. We are coming very close to the end. We have just 2 more speakers. There would have been many more. There are Dr. Wanjiku Kabira, whom I met last evening, has so many stories, beautiful stories about Katherine. She managed to reduce a bit of it to a speech that is going to be shared with the family. There is pressure for other people to speak, and I can see you in the room. I hope that just acknowledging you and your presence and your patience to be here. Wakili, I know you charge billable time. If we count the number of hours of lost billable time since you arrived here, Zain, my friend, thank you very much, and tell His Excellency that through you, we are grateful that he's with us in this journey. The Gen Z group, younger people who are not necessarily individually acknowledged that you've spent time, but you've also owned Katherine and her story in ways that were not necessarily the case after when we started. That is part of the beauty of creating an intergenerational relationship about these things that we care deeply about. The next speaker, we've talked about courage a lot. He has it in plenty, but he also has something else that I think we need to talk about in this country a little more than we do, that public officials can just live simple lives. You don't have to have all this grandiosity to be in public office. And that leader, I call him leader, is the Busia, is the senator representing, is a senator in the Kenyan Senate representing, elected by Busia County, Senator Okiya Omtata. Your life of courage is well known, but your life of simplicity is not as well known, and it's something that you introduce to public office in ways that very many others don't. Thank you very much.
the bereaved family, my Lord, the Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga, my friend Emeritus Governor Ngwae, my friend Wakili Omari, hebu angalia huku. Siwezi kuongea na unaangalia kando. Welcome. And of course, the indomitable Fred Obach Machoka, Sanyo Top, Sanyo Ju. You remember that one? I was in class 2. I came here to join my fellow mourners to commemorate and to celebrate the life of this distinguished lady. I read a lot about her. I encountered her work. But sitting here, listening to all of you, she knew what really mattered in the world. There's no point winning this world and losing the next one. I was listening to my sister Kombe, sending her verses, listening to people talking about her devotion as a devout Catholic. And by the way, we say Catholics are devout, they're not staunch. We just follow. When Rome speaks, we listen. So her devotion as a Catholic, and allow me to meditate on her dressing today. It's not an ordinary dress that she has. Those who are Catholics. First of all, she has the crucifix around her neck. And she's wearing the blue that is the official color of the Virgin Mary. So she thought about the afterlife. That's not a very ordinary picture. It's a very symbolic picture in the Catholic Church. And she celebrated her faith, her devotion, and no wonder she did what she did, because she had a firm foundation. It's not because of what she did that she has a foundation, no. It's because of the foundation she had as a devout Catholic who believes in the Catholic doctrine that human beings matter, that she did what she did. When she was cooking for you, she was worshiping God. My friend Gituga sang here that when you do good, you do it for yourself. And if you understand the scripture, on Judgment Day, they will not ask you how many times were you praying. You'll be told, when I was in prison, you came to visit me. When I was hungry, you fed me. So when you do good, you do it for yourself. That's what she did. And all I can say is that we are human beings. We have our failings. We can't be perfect before God. And I pray that the Almighty God has mercy on her soul. And I ask that we stand up and say that our Father, in honor of our departed hero. Our Father, who art in heaven, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it's done in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread.
And you want to chip in, it's 33. And you want to chip in, it's 33 88 688. 33 88 688. There's also a fundraiser tomorrow. We will give details as part of the announcements at the end of this. If you would like to do that physically at the fundraiser, but you can use that till number. Now we just have one more speaker. That is the Chief Justice Emeritus, Chief Justice David Maraga. Again, a man who, just a moment, Chief Justice, please. Thank you. A man, again, who personifies courage, again, who personifies simplicity. Tired of people living large on our taxes. Ama namna gani? Sindio? People wearing all those watches, and we know they didn't buy them with their money. With their money, it's our taxes. So we know you want big things for yourself, and we know those things will come. And we know that you will not buy a big watch because you also had big things before and you didn't buy a big watch. But we have a message from the MP for West Mugirango, that is the Honorable Steve Mogaka. I spoke to him. He had an activity in the constituency. West Mugirango is where Catherine comes from, so that is the connection. And I'll bring my friend Wakili Omari to deliver that message, and also as council to invite the Chief Justice Emeritus to make his remarks, and we'll be out of here. Oh no, we'll then go to the family.
Thank you, Senior. My name is Adan Stanamari. I have a message from the Member of Parliament for West Mugirango. The Member of Parliament for West Mugirango, who is the Member of Parliament for the late Katherine Nyamato. He's also the Member of Parliament for the husband of Katherine Nyamato, Silas Nyamato. He's a Member of Parliament of very many of those who are present here. He's a Member of Parliament for the retired CJ. That is how that connection is. On behalf of West Mugirango, the village where the one that you have identified to be a luminary, a trailblazer, a constituency that has a big national impact in very many fasts in this country. A constituency where bright, bold, beautiful, elegant women have been born, strong-minded men who have done public service. The great West Mugirango, Mheshimiwa condoles with you. For the family, Mheshimiwa is your family. We are your family. He was supposed to be here. One of your family members passed on today. That's Mboya member. My brother is held there too. Nyang'au Makabe is being removed from mortuary today. Nyang'au is a neighbor, first cousin of the late Catherine. Because of those reasons, Mheshimiwa Steve Mogaka passes his condolences. He welcomes you to West Mugirango when the body will be brought to Nyamira. At the parish, Mheshimiwa will be present, and for the burial on Friday, we shall be together. Thank you very much. May God bless the nation, and may God bless those ones who have done this country proud by standing for the truth. Thank you. Allow me as an advocate to welcome our senior retired Chief Justice Emeritus, the presidential candidate. The name is hard to mention. Karibu, Justice Retired Maraga. A big clap for Justice Retired Maraga.
Thank you. You know, Mari is a guy of drama, but very good drama. Thank you, George. Thank you for everyone. To the family of my sister, Roslyn, Maureen, Ernest, Peter, and Judy. Paul, son, about your mom. You have heard the tributes that have been made by very many people. I believe if we had time, everybody here would have something to say about your mom. She was larger than life. She was a great, great woman. We know her from the early days. She was among the ladies who went to Beijing, isn't it? The historic trip to Beijing. When she came back, and she served in Parliament. Come to the period of constitutional reform, she was among the women who urged very, very strongly for the 2/3 gender rule in our constitution. That has not been mentioned, but I know it. She fought very hard about that. And the women colleagues of ours, like the ladies who have been here, our sister here, were able to get that into the constitution. To me, I've lost a sister, as you have been told. We come from the same clan. Wherever I went to their home, honestly, your father used to just welcome me and say, "Mokoyane, karibu, karibu." And we are truly touched by this death, because Katherine was a great woman. When Senator Mtata, when I thought about running, Katherine was among the first people I consulted. And we conferred, and she asked me what my vision was going to be. And I said, look, I'm going to defend the Constitution first and foremost, and fight corruption. She said, because you have talked about the Constitution, that is very dear to my heart, because the Constitution is what has our human rights. And she told me, look, I'm 100% with you. So to me, I've not only lost a sister, I've not only lost a voter, I've not only lost a friend, but I've lost somebody who was going to campaign for me honestly. I want to thank all of you for coming. The human rights group, this is great. As somebody said here, maybe sometimes it's important to see those who are, what did you, George, what did you say? Senior, is it super senior? Like those who get to the super senior stage, hold the functions that tributes are given when they are still alive, so that they can listen and know what people say about Katherine. So pole sana to the family, we are with you. Pole sana to the civil society. And pole sana to all of us, friends who have been with Katherine for these years. We want to pray that God will give you the consolation that nobody else can give you, and you take on life without your mom. Thank you very much. I want to stop there and believe that we will come down to Nyamira and lay Mama to rest in a respectful manner. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice Emeritus. I'm aware that you had to change your plans to be with us here today and had to make sacrifices around your own scheduling to be with us. So again, thank you for that, just your presence. We were in Tanzania court not too long ago. You know what happened there with Boniface Mwangi and others when Martha was turned away. Chief Justice Emeritus was allowed to come through. That was again, there are small things. We need to talk about them, give people their flowers when they're still here. I told you this, when you walked, we had been terrorized in that place. And you just walked in, it was like You know how you see you're in this situation, like then your father walks in, you know, somebody strong, and that's what you realize, that they are leaders and they are leaders and then they are leaders. And when you walked in and covered us from that massive, massive political vulnerability that we were facing in Tanzania, that was a very good act, and thank you very much. May you continue working. It's now the turn of the family. I think I will give it to you. I don't know how you want to carry it forward. I suspect you have a spokesperson. You can take it the way you want. It's family time. I was with Peter when Kerubo lost her mother. Kerubo spoke here earlier and did a very good job of setting the stage for the relationship between us and Katherine. So when Kerubo lost her mother, we went down to Kisii. Kerubo's mother and Katherine shared a lot in common, very strong Catholics. And Katherine came down with Peter and we buried Kerubo's mother together. It was another moment of solidarity. I remember that. Peter, I still have the pictures, and I think you took some with your mom, and we didn't know that that was really going to be the my last physical meeting with her. Thank you. You've got the floor.
Thank you so much, GK or George. First, I'd like to give a big vote of thanks to our distinguished guests, CJ Emeritus. Thank you so much. The blackest man in Black Africa, thank you so much. I was in his ranch last year. He welcomed me very well, fed me very well as well. And all the other distinguished guests that we have, I'd like to say thank you so much for standing with the family. Just a word of thanks as well to GK for your exemplary leading of this tribute to Mama. Thank you so much. I think humility prevents him from also stating that his father was a member of the first government post-independence of this country. Also a very great man who I had many conversations with in our home in Nyansiongo. You might not be aware of that. I'm a keen advocate of reviving some traditional cultures that we have forgotten because there's some value to them. So his father is also a very, very great man. I believe he's still with us. Pole sana. I should have known that. But thank you so much to also my family members who are here, my aunties, my cousins, my friends who I see in the back as well. I'd like to take a brief moment to introduce my family members. So we'll start with the firstborn, Roslyn Mongina. I wanted to continue the practice of standing aside the way my father stood aside for my mother and give this opportunity to my sister. But she has worked tirelessly from the moment that we lost our mother. She's really the one who has been holding us together in many ways. So we used to call her baby, or my father used to call her baby. It's ironic because she was the firstborn. So thank you. To the secondborn, Maureen Kerubo. She came over from the States. She is the photocopy of my mother. You can see that tremendously. Not only in looks, but in grace and elegance. I'd also like to take this opportunity to have my wife just stand up, Winnie Jendeka Nyangara. Thank you so much. And I know that Honorable Martha has left. I'd like to say a word of thanks to her in absentia because she holds a bit of a special place in my heart because during my father's funeral, at that time, some of you will remember I had dreadlocks. And there was a few mutterings in the crowd about, why does this guy have dreadlocks? And she came up to me and she said, son, don't let these people discourage you from having those dreadlocks. My own son has dreadlocks. So she not only fought for the rights of women and fights for the rights of women, but also for those with dreadlocks. So yes, just a vote of thanks to all of and also the band. I don't know where they have disappeared to, but thank you for keeping our spirits high, wherever you are, and light in this very difficult time for the family. And I know I forgot Governor Ongwai as well. I don't know if he's also left. But anyone that I have forgotten, apologies. But I'd like to say a sincere thank you for all of you who have taken time to come and commiserate with us as the family and to celebrate the life of Mama. I know that she's looking down on us, smiling, because she was the personification of humility. A lot of you have already said that, she's accomplished a lot of things that even I did not know. I only found out about certain things even after she passed. She, as they say in literary circles, she used to hide her light under a bushel. So thank you once again, GK. I'll hand the mic over to you again. And thanks to everybody for taking a large chunk of their day out of their day to come to communicate with us. Thank you. Oh, okay, yes. Apologies. Also, I would like to introduce the wife of my elder brother, Ernest. Ernest could not be here today because he has to follow some cultural protocols to do with the burial of Mama on Friday. So he went with his firstborn son. Mercy, I don't know if Mercy is here. That is Dr. Omenge's wife. Sam Ochola, the husband of my sister Rosaline. I don't know if he's here. Mike Yate as well. I don't know if he's here. There's Mike. And my younger sister Judy, who couldn't make it, she was a bit overwhelmed. I'd like to say on behalf of her. Okay, oh yes. Let me introduce also she does not like to be pointed out, I know that. This is my mother's younger sister, the only surviving sister who is left, Auntie Maria, who takes good care of us. My cousin over there as well, Esther. I know she's shocked. Please stand up and greet. My other auntie over there, Aunt Helen, please stand up and just wave to the crowd. Asante sana. Is there anyone else I've forgotten? Please, relatives. Oh yes, my other aunties and uncles. Please just stand up and wave to the crowd. Asanteni sana. So thank you all. Thank you all from the bottom of our hearts on behalf of the family for coming to condole with us. I also see, Misha, my brother's daughter. Stand up, please. And Tandy as well.
Let him help you. Let him help
you. Yes. I'm not sure if I've forgotten anybody else. I'm sure they'll point themselves out. But yeah, to family and friends, thank you for this opportunity. To thank you all and for coming to condole with us. We truly, truly appreciate it. This will live long in the memory and helps to soften the blow for the fact that we have lost the matriarch of the family. Thank you once again, and thank you so much. GK, I'd like to hand over back to you. Thanks,
Thank you so much, the Nyamato family. Thank you for we accept the thanks with gratitude, and we are honored to have shared a life experience and the burden of leadership with your mother. We live in a politically difficult time. We work on very many different issues as a collective of civil society organizations. We face political vilification as a result of some of those issues that we work on. We are strongest when we work together, and we've come together in this way as a show of force across generations within our collective leadership, but also across issues. And your mother is an integral part of our story. And we also hope that part of what we come out of this place with is a pushback on the narrative that we are not as bad as people say. There's something that we do that is useful and needed for our society, and we are strongest that way together, and your mother is an integral part of that, and that's what we leave you with. The coincidence was that Catherine died within a day or so of the death of another legendary woman, Madam Phoebe Asio. That has caused quite a bit of, I mean, it's unprecedented. There are women who had fairly similar political paths, and then first women, then political women, and then civil society women, and then they die within days of each other. And that has caused lots of confusion about the approaches that we were going to have for how to remember Catherine. That ended up making us lose time and also dissipated our focus. And we just started organizing this as occasion 4 days ago. So it's really been like very, very quickly put together for us to have this session. We kept fretting whether we were going to have numbers of people to ever have be anywhere near the capacity of this room. But I think with very little lead time for preparation, we hope that what we've done goes halfway at least to showing how much we cared and loved and respected Catherine, and how much she represents the values that we aspire for as a sector. There are people you've thanked a lot of people. I will not necessarily repeat. There are people who at a working level have been very much part of the wiring of this. Mercy Jelimo, she's just left. She works at Crew. You are still here. Mercy, there's Nerima. Where are those people that we are working with every day and worrying about how this runs? There's Nerima. Can you stand? There's Soila. There's, who else is here? We don't have, there's from FIDA, we had, yes, there's a FIDA person. That's Florence. But there was also a colleague called Janet with whom we worked, and worried about what are we going to do. And everything was really, really late. We just had 4 days to plan this activity. So I would like to thank you very much for all the hard work that you've put in to pull off this function together. All the leaders that are here in this room, you've been thanked. There's a place you occupy, and only you occupy that place. And when we see you, we know that that place is not vacant, and we thank you because you are here with us today. For the civil society leaders, and you are here in large numbers as well, the likes of Sheila, again, there's a place you occupy and only you occupy. And thank you very much again for your presence here. For colleagues in civil society, let's continue with the things that we do. For the group that traveled a long distance from Kisii to be with us, there is work you do, and only you do that work. Thank you very much, and we also honor and appreciate you. To the family, thank you for giving us a chance to own the memory of your mother with you, and we hope we'll continue carrying with pride that memory, because that is now what is left after she's gone. Thank you so much, and we know you've got long plans going forward. We pray for journey mercies. We pray for God's providence in everything that needs to be done, and may everything be accomplished well. My sister, Rosemary, we thanked you. We said enough. Let's not say more. Thank you very much because you're present. Asanteni sana, 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 everybody. And we look forward to other ways of interaction. And God bless you and bless your evenings and your families. Asanteni. Marshals, thank you. Come here. You'll give us a last whatever. But as you give us a last one, again to thank you. We were here for Feroz the other day. We're here today for you. And you are a gift that always keeps giving, and you give in a way that is very relatable to our audiences. Asanteni sana.
Okay, let's have Sefu Wanjira, Ruth, kujeni huku mbele. Comrade Sweetie. We'll do one last song. Matoya, njoo huku. All my enemies are suffering. 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 All the plans scatter, scatter. All my enemies are suffering.
All my enemies are suffering. All my enemies are suffering.
All their plans are
Scatter, scatter. All my enemies are suffering.
All my comrades are commanding. All my comrades are commanding. All that beg them must suffer,
Scatter. All my comrades are commanding.
Tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote. Tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote. Oyaye, tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote. Twende tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote. Bungoma tuingie kwa siasa nzuri, kwa siasa nzuri. Tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote. Tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote. Pale Busia tuchukue kwa siasa nzuri, na Teso tuchukue kwa siasa nzuri. Hata Bungoma tuingie kwa siasa nzuri. Kakamega tuchukue kwa siasa nzuri. Tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote. Wende tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote. Pale Kisumu tuingie kwa siasa nzuri. Hata Nyalenda tuchukue kwa siasa nzuri. Kule Manyata tuchukue kwa siasa nzuri. Kisumu yote tuchukue kwa siasa nzuri. Tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote. Mama, tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote. Pale Kisii tuingie kwa siasa nzuri. Nyaribare tuchukue kwa siasa nzuri. Aya, tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote. Tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote. Hata Nakuru tuingie kwa siasa nzuri. Huko Naivasha tuchukue kwa siasa nzuri. Eldoreti tuchukue
kwa siasa nzuri,
hata Sugoi tuingie
kwa siasa nzuri. Tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote. Tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote.
Pale Isiolo tuingie
kwa siasa nzuri,
hata Ijara tuchukue
kwa siasa nzuri.
Kule Mandera tutafika
kwa siasa nzuri,
hata Isiolo tuchukue
kwa siasa nzuri. Hey! Tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote. Tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote. Kupigwa na kupokonywa maisha hakutatuzuia sisi wananchi kunyakua uhuru. Tumekataa kupiga magoti mbele ya hawa wauaji. Bila shaka sisi pia ni watu, hali ya utumwa tumeikataa.
kata kata
Hali ya utumwa